Welcome to Uncensored Conservatism. This is episode number 297, continuing to take a look at the Trump 2.0 administration. So, looking back on the past week, we're going to call this the bombs away edition. Poor Iran, they weren't expecting this, were they? Of course, a big thank you goes out to Israel for softening the target before our planes got there. This actually was a great mission if you read about the details. So the U.S. is the only country, I think, with these bunker-busting bombs, and we need to give some to Israel for use in Gaza, because we still have Jerry Nadler and J.B. Pritzker to drop on some terrorists. So I say go for it. That Ayatollah, or supreme leading raghead over there in Tehran, I guess he thought he could get away with it. So we managed to fly like 6 B-2 bombers over Iran without being detected, and dropped a shitload of ordnance on their nuclear facilities, pretty much destroying them. Yeah, but the supreme leader over there, hiding in his bunker, finally emerged and declared victory. Yeah, sure. Yeah. You beat the great Satan and those Zionist pigs in Israel, right? I think their rag on his head is too tight. What a clown. He may need a good Jewish lawyer to negotiate now with anyone. Oh yeah, it was uranium enrichment for peaceful purposes. So unless Iran discovered the secret to nuclear fusion, you don't need uranium enriched to 60% for civilian purposes. I guess the ragheads thought everyone else was stupid, but then again, they did have to deal with John Kerry and Antony Blinken. Speaking of which, Trump did more in 36 hours to thwart Iran's nuclear aspirations than it took Obama 8 years to not achieve. You know? I guess they thought they were still really dealing with Obama, Biden, Blinken, and Kerry. That has to be the only reason for their actions. Yeah, Obama and company come off as absolute assholes in this whole thing. 6 B-2 bombers or pallets of cash. Gee, I'll take door number 1 and watch things blow up as an added bonus. Seriously, we haven't heard a peep from our first half-black president on this whole thing. I wonder what he's thinking. If only I had thought about this. Damn you, John Kerry, you horse-headed moron. And let's not forget Joe Biden either. Okay, I'll give the senile moron sort of a pass here, because I don't think he knows there's this place called Iran. He probably still thinks it's the Persian Empire, and he was talking to Xerxes or somebody. I don't know. Of course, some morons in Congress are all in a tizzy about the attack, claiming they weren't informed or something. Actually, if Hakeem Jeffries had picked up his phone, he would have been informed, but you can't stop a retard from being retarded. And that idiot Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, oh, most definitely it's an impeachable offense. Really, bitch? Maybe this member of Mensa should just go back to bartending. And I actually don't think she was a bartender. I think she worked in a bar, cleaning up the toilets and wiping up spills on a bar, but I can't imagine her making a drink. And then Trump pulled a Dirty Harry move and told AOC and her friends to make his day. Well, someone did introduce articles of impeachment. I think it was that werewolf from Texas, Al Green or whatever, but it failed. And surprise, surprise. You got to admit, as bombing missions go, it was pretty successful. I mean, no civilians were killed, and they did seem to take out the nuclear abilities of Iran. Can you imagine using one of these bombs just once on some No King's Day protesters? And this little tweet is sort of true. I mean, Great Britain and France are overrun with Muslims from shithole countries in the Middle East. I mean, they call it London for a reason. That's right, they're more secular. Yeah, right. There's no such thing as a secular Muslim. And now you know why Trump didn't tell Congress before he bombed Iran. Even though they did notify the people that were supposed to be notified. My God, can you just imagine this gruesome foursome with intelligence information or war plans? They'd be running to their little Hamas buddies and And yes, on cue. On cue. Democrats are decrying the action taken in Iran. I'm sure there will be a congressional delegation of loser Democrats headed to Iran soon. If they go, can they please take some of those Queers for Palestine people with them, please? And this is Democrat hypocrisy and a lack of logic in a nutshell. You see, Iran can have access to a nuclear weapon, but an American can't own a gun. Ironically, Democrats are doing this. Already we have the attacks. They weren't close to a bomb, we were told. And even if they were, you didn't knock them out completely. They got their enriched uranium out beforehand. Your intelligence assessment is wrong. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? It's okay to tell Trump that maybe he did something good for once. And at least there's one Democrat who gets it. Hey, listen, if I told you 2 years ago that John Fetterman would be the most sane Democrat in the Senate, would you believe me? But here we are. I mean, this guy looks like Lurch from the Addams Family, and his wife looks like a refugee from the Church of Satan. But he's like the one with most sense in the Senate for the Democrats. And it's actually rather sad that the Democrats are so riddled with hatred of Trump that it's come to this. They cheer on terrorists in Gaza in the name of being humanitarian. They cheer on illegal criminals in the name of due process. And they wonder why they fucking lost. And you know what? I really hope they continue down this path. And then just like that, it was over. No more B-2s dropping bombs. No more missiles hitting Tel Aviv. No more Israeli jets flying over Tehran. Now, to all the jackasses on my side of the political spectrum, don't you feel kind of stupid now? Tucker Carlson is now in the same company as Alex Jones and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that's some padded cell territory there, boy. And I kind of used to like Tucker Carlson, but it's like these clowns really wanted us to send troops into the streets of Tehran just so they could say, I told you so. Some people just don't like winning, I guess. I don't know. Oh yeah, and speaking of Midnight Hammer, which was the code name of the operation, that whole Paul Pelosi being beaten with a hammer thing. Not to bring up old news, but that story kind of faded. We know the dude was convicted, but I kind of think old Nancy's hubby there hits the gay bathhouses in San Francisco, if you get my drift. But then again, if you were married to Nancy Pelosi and had to wake up next to that, I guess gay sex would have been better. Can you believe that Trump has only been in office for 5 months? It seems like 4 years, right? At this point, you have to say he learned from his other stint in the White House. Either that, or this is the most genius plan ever by a president. He even dropped the F-bomb on reporters. So, no, King's Day came and went, and I don't know what it accomplished other than Democrats got to chant some slogans and carry some signs and all that. I'll let them in on a little secret here. All the marching, chanting, and protesting is getting boring. It's like having Christmas every 3 weeks. It's just not the same. Save it for something good. And even the Supreme Court gets it. Now, they didn't rule on birthright citizenship, but they sure as hell told the lower courts to stop the shit, and especially the Democrats with their lawfare and judge shopping. You see, it's like the protests. You do it too many times for everything, it gets boring. Or it gets the Supreme Court pissed off. So no more of this asshole dictating policy from his courtroom in Washington, D.C. Oh yeah, that mayoral primary in New York City where a Hamas-loving certifiable communist Muslim won the Democratic Party's nomination. Come on, New York. The weird part, he did best in white areas, while the disgraced Andrew Cuomo did better in minority areas. I guess there's too many female box wine liberals up there in New York City. I mean, I don't understand it, right? Why do we have so many Muslims in this country and they're starting to win political offices? Listen, I know a few Muslims. I used to live next to one, and he was a very nice man. But I also checked out his garage on occasion for fertilizer and gasoline, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I mean, seriously, leaving aside his Muslim faith, this fucker's a stone-cold communist. He wants city-run grocery stores, free daycare and transportation. You know, ain't nothing free. But at least Lady Liberty can finally get some protection from the cold out there in the harbor. I guess the mess out there in California over immigration enforcement has kind of died down now until the next raid and accompanying protests. Yeah, this meme sums it up for me. You know, don't burn the American flag, but fly the Mexican flag. And then go back to Mexico. And it makes you wonder, if the country is so bad, right, as the left says it is, why do we have an illegals immigration problem? Why are people beating down our doors to come into this country legally? I mean, they got to get their logic straight. Yeah, California, I hate to pick on you, but, you know, you make it easy. You're broke and overrun with illegals, but getting that dude across the finish line over the girls in that track meet, that's your priority now. And did you ever notice how Democrats and liberals always gravitate toward the criminal and not the police? Wonder why that is. Wouldn't this be a dynamic duo in 2028? Gavin Newsom and Tampon Timmy Waltz on the same ticket. Their theme would be LABA, letting America burn again. Or in Timmy's case, labia. Meanwhile, Trump, Holman, Noem, and the cast of ICE will be catching and detaining and deporting people from these Marxist hellholes like LA, New York, and Chicago. It's just going to happen. So did you hear about the ICE detention center down in Florida at some abandoned airport outside Miami where it's surrounded by swamp? They call it the alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. You want to escape, you'll have to survive the swamp and gators. Now, I always thought it would be kind of cool to just put some alligators in the Rio Grande and see what would happen. And I bet you people on our side would be dying for that one. No, keep the alligators out. I forgot. We made it through another June, which means we made it through another Gay Pride Month. I still feel quite heterosexual, more so this year than in past years. I mean, look at everything that's going on in June, and very little of it having to do with gays or transgenders. I like this winning. So much so that I now bring you your Second Amendment news for the week. Here she is. Yep. She's got to be conservative. Look at that. Blonde hair, not pink. Smile on her face. No nose ring. Not plastered with any visible tattoos. And she's freaking good looking. She looks like a fine Midwestern conservative defending her farm animals from predators. And I'm sure that's what she's doing there. Although I don't know why she's not wearing a bra. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great day and a more pleasant tomorrow.